So on August 17th of 2004, as we were training these new Iraqi service members, I'd drive to a new operating base through the city of Bakuba, Iraq, the hotbed for the insurgency, ironically, where al-Sarkawi was killed. Very, very bad place for our forces to basically not only train, but also be combat capable at any time. Because I got to tell you, during that time frame, the Iranians were bringing in armaments over the border. And those armaments were going to be the tools and the resources that they would be used to deploy these improvised explosive devices. We knew it. We knew when they were doing it. But how do you combat that? And so through this whole mission, as I was driving through the city of Bakuba, Iraq, I hit the 4th mile marker out, and boom, the IED explodes. First fragment hit my knee, broke it in 3 places, fragments to the left side of my body. I was in trouble. The great thing about the enlisted and the non-commissioned officer, the backbone of our military, is they understand at that particular time we rehearsed for that situation because we knew what to do, how to do it, and certainly take action. I was a convoy commander on that mission. Ironically, what happens is when the convoy commander goes down, someone else has to take on the baton and carry out the mission. Great leadership principle. Always leading from the front, always being a great follower, and understanding that when you're tasked to take over the mission, you better execute. And the great thing about those moments was the fact that as this bomb exploded and this IED and this SUV caught fire, I got to tell you, the first thing that I thought about was my good Lord, because I started to pray knowing that I'd been hurt real bad. As I looked at my knee, again, it was broken in 3 places, fragments to the left side of my body, and again, I was in trouble. The combat medic pulls me out of the vehicle, puts me on 128-degree pavement. The first thing that he says to me is, "Man, Major, you're hurt bad." If you've ever taken CPR, don't ever tell the patient that, by the way. But the thing about that young man is that he would take his training seriously. And the thing that was so inspiring about him was, 21 years old, understood what the mission was. We'd throw white smoke to keep the enemy away, red smoke to identify somebody was down, and to create this 360-degree perimeter to keep the onlookers away. And the thing about it is, when the insurgency attacks, they attack and they do what they call cat tactics, where basically they hit and run. They're not very good on proficient on the battlefield, let me tell you. But you know what? That's what we face, and that's the enemy that we face. And through that process, again, this combat medic again begins to work on me. He's able to take care of me. He's able to render aid and put me on a helicopter. I'm headed to Baghdad. I spent 17 hours in surgery, blood transfusions. I wake up 2 days later to be awarded the Purple Heart by General Petraeus. It was a great moment for me because as I look at this Purple Heart, I'm always honored and grateful to look at the fact that our founding fathers are a big element of what this is all about. That on behalf of a grateful nation, this nation can give you a special award to tell you thank you for your service and sacrifice. And to me, it was very special to get that. I don't remember much about it, but I do remember one thing, that in that moment, he would call my family and tell them that I would be on my way home. To me, that's another trait of leadership, making sure that it's always mission first and people always. And in your work, that's exactly what you do. You do the mission that is at hand to be the best that you can be for the people that you serve. And how great is that you have that motivation? Because those were leadership principles that we can use from everywhere. And from going to Baghdad to Germany, Walter Reed Brook Army Medical Center in San Antonio, I'd have E. coli, Enterobacter, 2 staph infections, a chemical agent in my leg, go from 195 to 118 pounds in 45 days. And on October 1st, 2004, my left leg would be taken forever. I have to tell you that it was one of the most trying times of my life. I often tell people that during this whole process, I remember that I would weep, I would be in a sad place, but a lot of it had to do with the fact that I was looking at my family and wondering how I was going to take care of them, how I was going to be able to take care of their lives as I move forward, or was I even going to be able to get out of this situation? I was hurting. I was in this dark hole that they call the silent wound of war. And to me, it was a very powerful moment in life for me because not only did I learn how to cry, but I also learned how to ask for support. And that was one of the toughest things that I had to ask for, was to ask someone else to help me. And I often think about it because there were a lot of nights where I would just sit there in my bed by myself and cry. And the thing is, that wasn't me. And I often tell people, I think it's because, when I got one of my blood transfusions, I got a little female blood in me, so now I cry all the time. I mean, so old Yeller gets me all the time now. But the thing about it is those moments of shedding a tear, and as I look at my friend, as I shed a tear, that I knew that I was shedding a tear for the greatest nation in the world, and for the sacrifice that's been made by so many other people for us to be free and do what we do each and every day. And that at the end of the day, as I got all these dignitaries coming into my room and saying hello to me, giving me these coins and telling me that they would support me through my new journey in life, one thing was clear about those moments was that I would need you, the American people. You see, I would learn how to walk adaptively. I would learn how to gain some more weight. I would learn about the fact that, at the end of the day, what happened to me happens to a lot of other people as well. And that my tragedy and my challenges and my triumphs would be ways to elevate others and to help others to make sure that they weren't in that negative state of mind as I was back in 2004. And so I would learn how to do a lot of things adaptively. First thing that I did was, of course, I learned how to walk. I learned how to take that first step around Brooke Army Medical. And from there, I began to connect with my fellow comrades who had the same challenges that I had. And in fact, we went to Sun Valley, Idaho, and I have to tell you this cool story. So we go to Sun Valley, Idaho. We learn how to snow ski on one leg, let me tell you, because there was a lot of us that were amputees. And going down those slopes, I got to tell you, when somebody sees you doing that, they're like, wow. And to me, the most important thing that I learned from that trip was the fact that my challenges could be conquered, because I was able to see others that had conquered their challenges as well. We were there with these Paralympians, and they were awesome. But let me tell you about these Paralympians. They beat us 22-0 in hockey, by the way. But the thing about it is that these Paralympians would teach us that, never give up. Never give up on what you do each and every day. And that messaging would be the powerful message that I would need for me to say, what is next in my life? The military is telling me probably that I'm going to go home and I'm going to be rated unfit for duty. And now it is an opportunity for me to do something different. And so I would look at philanthropy as a way and a vehicle to do that. And AJ, we've done a lot of philanthropy in the state of Oklahoma. And the thing that inspires me most is that a lot of people don't know that when you tell the story of who you help, or you tell your personal story of challenge, triumph, and change, as I call it, that you really empower people to really look at their life in a little different way. And to me, what was so powerful about those moments of learning about philanthropy was the fact that I want to give you some advice. The most important thing that you can do is tell your personal story.